This is one of India's largest electric scooter factories. Notice something different from, say, Tesla or GM? A small but growing number of Indian companies in the electric vehicle industry, from scooter manufacturers to battery producers, are led and staffed largely by women in a field that's long been dominated by men. So, why are more women in India taking up EV roles? And what can the rest of the world learn from it? Ather's factory is the size of two football stadiums and produces more than 100,000 electric scooters each year. About a quarter of its workers are female, but that's just a start. Ather wants to increase that number to keep up with other Indian EV companies that have all-female staff on the factory floor. That's impressive, considering India has one of the lowest labor participation rates for women in the world.
Battery is like 25 kg. No one is lifting that one, but I am lifting battery because I know I can do it.
Nazreen Banu studied electrical engineering and was the only woman in her family to leave her hometown for a job. After starting on the assembly line at Ather, she now supervises a team on the shop floor.
I say to everyone, don't push yourself down. We are equal to men. We can do what they can't do.
Banu is part of something bigger happening in India. As the EV industry booms, more doors are opening for women. There's this electric scooter company based in Bengaluru, which boasts an all-female staff, who also dance. And not just on the factory floor, they're also managers, designers, and CEOs. There's a few explanations for this. More Indian women than ever are studying engineering. 42% of STEM graduates in India were women in 2018, more than the US, Germany, and other large economies. EV manufacturing also demands different skills, ones that are more widely available among women.
There's many more other things coming into the business of EVs: design, color, software, skill that is higher precision.
But there's something else going on too. For decades, there's been a bias against women working in the auto industry. Many see EVs as an opportunity to break that.
When a new technology comes in, there is the ability to take a woman on her merit and not necessarily to have to prove historic knowledge.
This is Julia Muir. She worked at Ford Motor Company for 2 decades before founding Automotive 30% Club, a group that advocates for gender balance in the auto industry.
I've seen deliberate efforts by the management to get women on the shop floor to do just normal jobs that normally men would do. So gender neutrality comes with effort. Breaking the bias comes with effort.
So are there other trailblazers outside of India? Sort of. In China, one of the most successful EV companies has its biggest customer base among young women, and they post about it on social media. As a response, SAIC-GM-Wuling has hired more staff to address their needs. One big selling point? Customizable, colorful stickers for these bite-sized vehicles. And Mexico-based Zacua, which describes itself as the country's first EV brand, produces cars with a staff of 40, half of whom are women.
Vimos que las mujeres estaban levantando la mano y decidimos que definitivamente tenían que tener oportunidades de venir a demostrar y a desarrollarse como cualquier persona debe tenerlo.
But these are outliers. When it comes to the big players, the Teslas and Toyotas of the world, men are still in the driver's seat.
Transport and construction are probably the two worst sectors for equity and equality.
Tesla reported in 2020 that 21% of its workforce consists of women. That number goes down to 17% at the leadership level. For one of China's biggest EV manufacturers, XPeng, it's 6% in top management. Meanwhile, Rivian, a California-based EV company, is facing a gender discrimination lawsuit. Former executive Laura Schwab sued the company last November, claiming she was fired for speaking out about Rivian's toxic bro culture. So what lessons do places like Ather and Zacua offer to the EV world? For starters, having a more gender-balanced workforce isn't just good for women. It's good for business. And having a larger share of women in their ranks can help EV companies identify and solve problems like safety concerns over EV charging stations.
Running out of charge and being stuck somewhere is inconvenient for a man, but could be life-threatening for a woman. Will electric charging stations be well lit? Will they be safe? Will I have to hang about for ages in some place while that happens?
Things like that could improve EV sales among women, which are lagging in key markets, even though they make up a large part of the consumer base for vehicles overall.
When you've got gender balanced teams, you immediately be able to see those things from a woman's perspective as well as from a man.
And for some of the female workers we spoke to, the men in their family have been big supporters of their decisions.
I want to work in job in bank, simply sitting in AC doing like computer work. But my daddy said, no, you are equal to men, you have to go in engineering field, you have to learn this.
Hi, I'm Roli.
And I'm Anuradha.
Thanks for watching this video. We were on the ground in India to report this story.
If you like this video and want to support more reporting like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more of our videos.